Hello, in this video, we will show you how to install the Sunny Tripower Hybrid X 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, and how you can connect it to the public power grid, the communication system, and the PV modules. For all work on the device, always follow the instructions in the valid operating manual and observe all safety notices. Also make sure that the installation requirements, such as clearances and permissible mounting positions, are met. Use suitable anchors and screws with washers that are appropriate for the surface and the weight of the inverter. Make sure that everything is aligned correctly. All fastenings should be tightened so that the bracket is stable and level. Now the inverter is placed into the mounted bracket. Make sure that the inverter is properly aligned. Then, secure the inverter to the mounting bracket using the supplied M6/14 combination screws. Electrical connection. Make sure that both the AC circuit breakers for all three phases and the PV disconnect switch on the inverter are switched off. Only then can you begin with the electrical connection. First, unscrew the union nut of the AC connector and remove the sealing rings. Before releasing the terminal block from the connector housing using the locking lever. Next, depending on the cable diameter, insert the appropriate sealing ring. Then, feed the AC cable through the union nut, sealing ring, and housing. The cable is then stripped to 60 mm, and the conductors L1, L2, L3N, and PE are each stripped by 16 mm. These are inserted into the terminal block according to the labeling and tightened to 2 Newton meters, after which the correct fit is checked. The terminal block is then inserted into the connector housing until it audibly clicks into place. And the union nut is screwed on tightly. Finally, the protective cap of the AC socket is removed and the plug is inserted until it also audibly clicks into place. For additional grounding, a separate grounding cable and an M5 ring terminal are required, which are not included in the delivery. It is important to ensure that the cross-section of the grounding cable matches that of the PE conductor at the AC grid connection, and it must be at least 2.5 square millimeters. The grounding cable is stripped and the ring terminal is properly crimped on. Then the cable is attached to the designated grounding point by placing the screw together with the washer and spring washer, and tightened with a TX30 tool to a torque of 3 Newton meters. For this, a network cable and, if necessary, a field-attachable RJ45 connector are required. If a self-assembled cable is used, mount the RJ45 connectors according to the manufacturer's instructions. Next, unscrew the protective cap from the inverter housing, remove the supplied cable gland, and loosen the lock nut to remove the sealing plug from the threaded sleeve. Then, feed the network cable through the lock nut, sealing plug, and threaded sleeve, and reinsert the sealing plug. Insert the network plug into the socket until it audibly clicks into place. Then screw on the threaded sleeve and tighten the lock nut. Finally, check that everything is secure by gently pulling on the cable. For outdoor installations, install surge protection for all network components and connect the free end of the cable to the local network, for example, via a router. First, measure the voltage of the PV system and check that the maximum input voltage of the inverter is not exceeded and that there is no ground fault. In the next step, check the polarity of the DC connectors and ensure that cables and connectors are correctly assigned. If the polarity is incorrect, reassemble the connector. Also check that the open circuit voltage of the PV generator does not exceed the maximum input voltage. Then connect the assembled DC connectors to the inverter until they audibly click into place and check that all connectors are securely seated. Finally, make sure that ceiling plugs are correctly inserted in any unused DC inputs. We hope this video was able to help you with your questions. If you need further assistance, check out more tech tips on our channel or leave your questions in the comments below this video. Would you like to always see the latest tech tips for SMA products? Then subscribe to our channel.